Shalom and welcome to another episode. Let me put this down. Welcome to another episode of Elders of GMS, giving all praises to Yahweh Shem Yahweh Shai. Today is going to be a GMS special because we have some visitors among us. We have the leaders and some of the other brothers, up-and-coming brothers from the Texas camp, one of the Texas camps. And we also have the leader of the brother of the Mississippi camp, GMS Mississippi. And last but not least, we have two of the leaders of the Boston camp. So what I'm going to do now, I'm gonna go Don Cornelius style. I'm going to pass the mic around and let y'all state your names, okay? So, you know what? I'm going to let you.
I'm Mashaba Allah from the GMS Dallas camp.
Akkad Lamad from the GMS Dallas camp.
Ariala from GMS Dallas.
Zakaria from GMS Dallas.
Yashawamba, GMS Dallas.
Adama, GMS Boston.
Awar, GMS Kabaja Awar 3, Mississippi.
Imas, GMS Boston.
Okay, so that's it. So now you know the brothers, seeing their faces. What we're going to go into is normally I get up pretty early in the morning and I'll go on the web and I'll put certain keywords in Google and get certain ideas and stuff. Basically, what I wanted to go into is the fact that, actually, you know what, man? I'm just going to go right to the videos. Set up for the first one. Just get it keyed up on the yeah. That's all you got to do is change the yellow cable, and we'll just let the video speak, and then we're gonna ride off of that spirit, cause we're definitely coming to the last hurrah of Esau. What Esau is getting ready to do in this country and around the world is what he did back when during the time of the Maccabees, when during the time period of Antiochus Epiphanes and the line of the Ptolemies and Judas Maccabees, and what they did to cause the Israelites, our foreparents, to revolt against them. They did some nasty, wicked stuff. And then they did the same thing. We're talking about the same devil. He did the same thing during the time of the Roman Empire when in, I believe it was 65 BC, if I'm not mistaken. That's when they took over, the Roman Empire took over Jerusalem, all right, and took over that whole region among the tribes, the three tribes that were left behind in the so-called Middle East, as you call it today. And then during the period of 66 AD to 74 AD, you had the reign of Vespasian. Then you had his son Titus, all right, which he became. He was like the commanding general, while his father Vespasian was sitting up there as a Caesar. And then he became Caesar after his father died. And they made a big deal about this guy, Titus, the general. And they had built an arch, or ark, if you will, of his exploits. And that arch, or that ark, whatever you want to call it, is still over there in Rome, Italy today. And on that arch, you see that's carved by, chiseled by in stone, the fact that they raided the temple and they took the silver, the gold, the monies, the Torahs, the menorah, all these different things that they had. And that's what that's the devil's calling card. That's what he does. Despite what Yahshua says that Esau can make it, and other nations can make it, that's bullshit. So they did that during the time of Alexander the Greek, but then they really put the pressure on during the time of Antiochus Epiphanes. Then I said going back up to when the Romans first took down Jerusalem, and then they had a series of wars, which we're talking about now. I mentioned Vespasian, I mentioned Titus. That's why you brothers got to get into that history, man. You got to learn them scriptures. That's key. That's the number one thing. But when you read those scriptures, that happened in different periods of history. So I believe it's in Luke the 2nd chapter where it tells you that Joseph, the father of the Lord, had to go and pay taxes to the Caesar, and I believe the Caesar at that time was Augustus Caesar, also known as Octavian Caesar. All right, for you scholars out there, you history buffs, So when you read stuff like that, then you got to go into the history. Then you got to know about timelines. So there's a lot to this, man. Now all of us is pretty much getting into the herbs and the healing medicines now. And we have herbologists. I found out today, actual herbologists that own stores and stuff. We have orthodontists. We got mechanics, We got guys that can fix helicopters, man. Work on submarines. Israel has a lot of skills, man. A lot of skills, But anyway, you go into one thing in the scriptures that lead you into something else. The scriptures tell you about herbs and stuff and about the physician. So you got to become that, The scriptures teach about war. So you got to get into that, You got to be ready for war. You got to get in shape. You got to do your push-ups, your sit-ups. You got to get in shape, man. Paul said bodily exercise profiteth little, but it does profit. It does profit. And then the Apostle Paul always used to compare the scriptures to the Olympic Games. He referred to it's like a wrestling match. All right. He said not beating the air, meaning boxing. Paul also compared the scriptures or being in this truth to running a race. So then you learn about the history of Paul. You learn about Peter. You learn about what did they eat? What did they do? Did they have what did they have brothers and sisters? I mean, what did you learn about these things? So when you read the scriptures, it's almost like you can see it happening. And that's one thing that Ariel used to do. He would go into the scriptures and explain certain things that happened back there. And I used to look at this dude and say, wait a minute, does this guy have a time machine? That he gets in the time machine, he goes back and he actually can see the events. When you really get into these scriptures, then you can picture them. That's why these devils, they make these movies, right? These movies about the Roman Empire, and it actually looks like somebody took a camera and went back to the future because they study, man. They get the garments down packed. They get the language down packed. This dude, what's the dude, the white boy, he made the movie Apocalypto. Mel Gibson, all right. When he made the movie, the Passion, there was no English in the movie. Period. There was two languages, classic Latin and Hebrew. So I mean, this dude, and they don't like him out there in Hollywood because he speaks down against the so-called Jew because he knows about the inside of it. But he made it seem like you were actually back there, man. And the guy that played the Messiah was actually a Jake, even though he looked like a white boy. That's what's this guy, Caviezel, John Caviezel. He's a Sicilian, man. And then he said after he did that movie, he got into the scriptures real deep because the scene where he was put up on the cross, do you know the Lord hit him struck him with lightning? So that scared him, and that made him closer to the Lord. Okay, we got a scripture here.
This is Deuteronomy chapter